thank you for joining me again on my trips and travels. This time we're going down to the north of Spain, from my little place in France here, to Rahal, just below Alicante, and also to visit the Gaudi in Barcelona. Well, here we are in Barcelona. It's possible to walk to most places, wonderful streets, rather busy traffic. Here the awareness by Gaudi of natural designs, of the use of natural forms and natural history throughout his designs, plus the use of the parabolic arch constantly. Below the main building you can see the original designs by Gaudi and the plans and how everything was constructed and thought out. Almost every space, every facet, every surface has a design or is carefully considered from the outside to the inside. All the materials, the glass, the wood, the metal, the concrete, the brickwork, all has an integral design and fits one to another. Even this fireplace and the stove here has been individually designed. I would like to recommend you to consider this way of thought even with your own craft work. Of course there are right and wrong ways of doing things, of course there are ways that don't work, but there are many ways that do. It's only by experimenting and exploring, it's only by taking a risk and try their ways, try everything out, have the techniques and methods to your hand. Of course Gaudi was the architect, but he didn't create all of this work, he commanded or commissioned other artists and craftsmen to produce this, and there were hundreds of ceramists, bricklayers, builders and craftsmen. Let's see that here with these parabolic arches and the way the light is gently guided down across these beautiful soft forms to give us a feeling of tranquility. A few minutes later, at this very table while we were eating, is where the thief tried to steal the handbag of my partner. We found this lovely park and were able to explore the gardens with these tropical cacti growing right through the year. So rather than painting old houses and villas in the older part of the villages of Spain and Portugal as I've done in the past, I did a watercolour of one of the newer properties here that was still very attractive and shows what can be done. The housing estate was multinational and the properties had been bought by people from all over the world. We had Dutch, English, Spanish, French, even in the street we were living in. They built a wonderful golf course nearby, and this is a perfect place for many people to retire. We have good supermarkets stocking, produce from all over the world, English again and Spanish. Although our visit was in autumn, the sea was still very warm and very pleasant, the breeze balmy, and we were able to swim for at least a should be relaxation. But for me, of course, it's part of my work and business and life. But here we are, spending a few hours cutting some mullet and bream for our supper later on. Okay, you have the ambience and feeling of where we are now. Let's get down to the work. Let's get down to the painting, shall we? Try and do a large watercolour here of this rather nice little scene in the estate here. Looked around the villages, haven't seen much to paint as yet that I really fancy, but here it's rather pretty, and we've got the sunlight coming through from the left. As the sun comes round more this way, it'll hit more of these white houses with the blue roof. On the drawing now, which is fairly complicated, is this Polibo masking fluid, which leaves a grey mark, so I can see what I'm doing when it's on the paper, and it's easier to rub off later as well. That will do us. Whilst in Spain, somebody saw me doing some of these paintings and said, could I do a little pastel of their house? Let me show you very quickly how a fast, simple pastel can be created by blocking and blending on this Ingres paper now, shall we? So I'm coming down with a slightly deeper brown into it, slightly more reddy in places, not too much, just a little here and there. And the end of our trip this time.